Toledo. We're in Toledo, right? So it's OH. Okay, that's where we are. Well, it's great to be here with you today. Thank you so much for that welcome. Thank you, Congressman Latta. Appreciate your help in welcoming me here today. My goodness, how many people are in this room. This is extraordinary. Thank you. You know, the president just the other day said that you can't change Washington from the inside, you can only change it from the outside. Well, we're going to give him that chance on November 6th. I know that they're out there chanting at his events, 4 more years, but let me ask you this. Do you want 4 more years with 23 million people struggling to find a job? Do you want 4 more years where half our kids coming out of college can't find a college-level job? Do you want 4 more years of trillion-dollar deficits? Look, I don't want 4 more years any more than you do, but I can tell you this. If President Obama were to be re-elected, what you'd see is 4 more years like the last 4 years, and we can't afford another 4 years like the last 4 years. His plan for America, did you hear it at his convention? Did you hear all the new ideas? Yeah, there weren't any. There weren't any. It's the status quo. It's what he's been saying for the past 4 years. He got out there and he wants another stimulus, all right? And then he wants to be able to pick winners and losers, make government investments. By the way, government investments, that means taking your money and he invests it in the businesses owned by his friends. That's not my kind of investing. More deficits, of course, trillion-dollar deficits. You see that clock up there? $16 trillion in debt. When this campaign began, it was a heck of a lot less than that. When the president was elected, it was about 10 point something. He's added about $6 trillion in debt to the country. It's not good for the economy. It's not good for jobs. And in my view, I think it's immoral for us to pass on obligations to our kids of that nature. We got to stop it. Do you realize what that number means, by the way, to your kids and to you? Do you know how much you're paying for that? You might just think that's debt out there. Someone will repay it someday. Maybe our kids or grandkids. That's not how it works. You pay interest on that right now. People in America are paying interest. How much interest are they paying? More than all that is spent on housing by our government, agriculture, all that's spent is on education, transportation. Think of that. Housing, education, agriculture, transportation, all combined don't spend as much as the interest on that debt. We will stop adding to that debt. We'll finally get America on track to a balanced budget. It's the right thing to do. Look, I'm going to take America in a very different direction than this president. And this election comes down to a choice. It comes down to a choice of path. His campaign slogan is forward. Forward with the same ideas, the same approaches he's had for the last 4 years. Nothing's going to change. And we know the result of the last 4 years. So we don't have to wonder what would happen if he were reelected. We see it. We see the high unemployment. We see the 23 million people out of work. We see kids coming out of school that can't find jobs. We see manufacturing. Manufacturing jobs in the last 4 years have dropped by 582,000 people. This is not the path we want for America. There's a different path. And the path I represent is one which will add 12 million new jobs. That'll get rising take-home pay again. There are 5 things I'll do. 5 things I'll do to get this economy going. Right from the start. Number 1, I'm going to take full advantage of our oil, our coal, our gas, our nuclear, our renewables. This is an extraordinary resource. And by the way, that means lower prices at the pump. By the way, under this president, prices at the pump have doubled, all right? Now, I'm going to do everything in my power to make sure we create as much energy of our own as we can. We're going to have North American energy independence within 8 years. That's going to happen. And not only does it mean lower prices at the pump and hopefully get the prices down of our electricity as well from where they otherwise would be, but it also means more jobs. Because if we have full exploitation of our oil, our gas, our nuclear, our renewables, our coal, why we have more jobs in the energy sector, and we also have more manufacturing that comes back here, because if we have low-cost, abundant energy, manufacturing is going to beat its path back to here. We're going to get more jobs here. So number one is energy. Number two relates to trade. Trade has to work for us. We can compete with anyone in the world. And so I'm going to open up new markets for us to be able to sell goods to. But I'll tell you what else I'm going to do. I'm going to crack down on China. They should not steal our jobs unfairly. That can't continue. Over the past decades, they've held down the value of their currency. You wonder, what does that mean? What does that do? Here's what it does. It means the prices of their products are artificially low. And so if you're an American company manufacturing a product that competes with their product, why, their prices are low. And so the American company ultimately goes out of business and we lose the jobs. That's what's been happening over these years, one year after the other. The president has had multiple opportunities to label China a currency manipulator. He hasn't. I will. Number three, to make sure we have a great prospect for our people today, I want to have job training programs that work for the American worker. And that means that instead of having 47 different federal training programs that report to 8 different agencies with all sorts of overhead, I'm going to take the dollars that the federal government spends, bundle it up, give Ohio its fair share, and let Ohio create its own job training programs for its own people. And to make sure that we're not just training our current workers for the jobs of today, but also our future workers for the jobs of tomorrow, I'm going to make sure we fix our schools. We know how to do that, by the way. We know what's key in our schools. You'll hear a lot of confusion because some people have a big interest in the outcome as to how money is spent in education. But a lot of people have looked at this issue. My state of Massachusetts, our schools are ranked #1 in the nation. 4 federal measures, on all 4, ranked #1. How do we get there? We got there because we understand the key to a great school is having great teachers. We need to put our teachers and our kids and our families first, and the teachers' union behind. Number four. We're not going to have entrepreneurs go out and start a new business, or big companies come here and decide to build a new facility, a new plant, and hire a lot of people if they think we're on the road to Greece. And that clock up there looks like Greece. If President Obama were to be reelected, we'd have about a $20 trillion debt by the end of his next term. That will not happen because he's not going to get reelected. I will balance our budget, get America to live within its means. I mentioned something else. One more. Number 1 was making sure, for instance, that we take advantage of our energy resources. Number 2 was making sure that we have the opportunity to get our people to have the skills they need to succeed, and trade that works for us. And number 4 is to make sure we balance our budget. And number 5, let me tell you what this is. We need to champion small business. We need to help small business get on its feet and grow, because small business is where jobs come from. And the president's plan, by the way, you know what it is. He plans on raising taxes. He's already said he's going to raise taxes on some 1 million small businesses, 1 million small businesses in this country are taxed as individuals. He wants to raise the tax rate on them. That'll kill jobs. I'm going to lower the tax rates. He wants to raise them. I'll create jobs. He'll kill them. A study. There was a study put out by the National Federation of Independent Businesses. They had Ernst & Young look at his tax proposal. They concluded that his tax proposal will cost 700,000 jobs. We can ill afford that. My tax proposal, it creates 7 million jobs. I want to create jobs. His plans don't do that. There's something else about small business. There's something else that's scaring small business. There was a survey done by the Chamber of Commerce. They surveyed members across the country. They asked them, what's the effect of Obamacare on your hiring plans? And the people came back, 3/4 of them said it made them less likely to hire people. I will repeal Obamacare and replace it with real health care reform. You see, Obamacare is really exhibit number 1 of the president's political philosophy, and that is that government knows better than people how to run their lives. It is a view that government should stand between you and your doctor. I don't believe in a bigger and bigger government, taxing more and more intrusive in our lives, more directing and compelling of our enterprises, telling us what kind of energy we can have, taking $90 billion and investing it in green energy companies. I believe in free people pursuing their dreams. I believe in freedom. Now, of course, government has a role. We have people that are hurting. We have people who are disabled and people who are poor. They need our help, and they receive our help. We're a charitable people. No nation on earth is as charitable as the people of the United States of America. And so we're going to help those that need our help. We're a compassionate people. At the same time, we're going to insist that these people have the opportunity for work if they can carry out work, if they're able-bodied. Because we are not going to create a society of dependence on government. Look, this president has put us on a path to become like Europe. Europe doesn't work in Europe. I don't want it here. I don't want a government that gets larger and larger, that has huge debts like that. I don't want an America where we have chronic high unemployment year after year after year, where there's no wage growth. Do you realize what's happened to the income of the median family in America? Their income has gone down every year for the past 4 years. It's come down some 8.2%, I believe the number is, under the Obama years. Think about that. American families are having a hard time. Incomes are down. At the same time, the cost of food is up. The cost of electricity is up. The cost of health care is way up. The cost of gasoline has doubled. The American family, middle-income families, are having a hard time. Look, I know the president cares about America and the people of this country. He just doesn't know how to help them. I do. I'll get this country going again. Now, I have confidence in our future. I recognize that America is going to come roaring back. Were we to re-elect President Obama, there's no question in my mind we'd face 4 more difficult years. If instead when I become president, we're going to get this economy growing again. We're going to do the things that ignite this economy. Those 5 things I described will get America's economy going again. We'll help people find jobs that need those jobs. We'll get take-home pay to come up again. This is not a mystery. We know how to do it. America has faced challenges before. When we have strong leaders, when we have people who know how to lead and where to lead, we can get it done. And I am, and we will. You know, I believe in America, and I believe in you. I believe you're going to help me win Ohio, I'll tell you that. All right. We love this country. We know what it stands for. We know the power of freedom. We take our inspiration from the founding documents, the Declaration of Independence and the Constitution. We believe the founders were right when they said that our rights came from God, not from government, but from God. And among those rights were life and liberty and the pursuit of happiness. And that last phrase, don't forget it, that last phrase really means something. Pursuit of happiness. What that means is that in this country, we can pursue happiness as we choose. We're not told by our government what we can accomplish. We're not limited by the circumstance of our birth. I was with Marco Rubio the other day. You know Marco? He said growing up, there were some big homes not far from where he lived. He said, I never heard my parents say, why don't those people give us some of what they have? Instead, they said, aren't we lucky to live in a country where if we work hard and take some risk and get as much education as possible, we can achieve that ourselves. America's economy is driven by freedom. It's not guided by government. That's how the Europeans did it. That did not work. The reason we have surpassed them, the reason we have grown to become the most powerful economy in the history of the earth is not because of government bureaucrats telling us how to live our lives or what to invest in or telling us what kind of health care we can have. Instead, free American people living their lives as they freely choose. That's what makes America what we are. We're a nation of dreamers. Now, I know you've been outside for a long time, but I want to tell you one more thing. I want to tell you where my passion and conviction of the future of this country comes from. It's because I get the chance to see the American people. And I have over my lifetime seen people in this country, by the way, most of whom are struggling with one kind of challenge or another. You look around, you see everybody that look happy, and you think everybody's doing just fine, and you're the only one with problems. But the truth is, most people that you see have some real challenges in their life of one kind or another. I understand that. And I've seen that inside the heart of the American people, despite our challenges, is a conviction that this nation is the greatest nation in the history of the earth. And the people... And we love this country and recognize the sacrifice that is made for this country. I wonder how many people in this room have served in our armed forces or are doing so now. Would you raise your hand? Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for your service. Some years ago, I had the chance of helping to organize the Olympic Winter Games of 2002. This experience was one of the most meaningful to me, perhaps the most memorable for me. It was at the closing ceremonies. And the Vice President of the United States came to watch those last events. And Vice President Cheney asked me to choose one athlete to come sit next to him in his box to represent all the American athletes, and I chose Derek Parra. Derek is Hispanic American. He was born in Los Angeles. He was a rollerblader, all right? And his friends told him, look, you got to pick up another sport because there's no medal in rollerblading. So he tries on ice skates, and he skates pretty darn well. As a matter of fact, he skates so well and works so hard, he makes the U.S. speed skating team and comes to the Olympics. And while he was there, he skates his heart out and gets a silver medal in the 5,000 meters and then a gold medal in the 1,500 meters. Fastest man in the world on ice. And he's about 5'4", and strong, passionate. I asked him to come in and sit with the Vice President at the closing ceremonies. He came in, I stopped him and I said, Derek, what was the most meaningful experience in your Olympic Games? And it wasn't the silver medal, and it wasn't the gold medal. He said it was being honored to carry in the American flag that had flown above the World Trade Center on September 11th of 2001. Derek was one of 8 athletes chosen to carry in that flag that had been above the World Trade Center on that tragic day. The flag's about 8 feet by 12 feet. It's badly torn and burned, so you can't put it up a flagpole. You carry it in horizontally. And he said that they expected, when it was announced, as it was coming into the stadium, that the audience would burst into cheers, but instead, total silence and complete reverence. So they carried the flag, and he said, we stopped in front of the choir, and they began performing the national anthem. And he said, Mitt, it was hard to hold on to my emotions as I was holding that flag, and they were singing those words. And then he said, the choir did something we hadn't expected. Now, I knew it was coming because I chose the version of the national anthem the choir sang, and I chose a version from the 1930s, arranged by Robert Shaw, where you repeat the last line, and the sopranos go up an octave, and there's much greater orchestration. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave, or the land of the free and the home of the brave. And he said, this time as they sang it again, a gust of wind blew in the flag and lifted it in her hands. And he said it was as if all the spirits of those that had fought and died for American liberty had just blown in that flag. We are a patriotic people. We recognize that our nation is an exceptional nation. We recognize the power and unique nature of a nation which was formed based upon a principle that God gave us our rights and that we have freedom as part of our life inheritance from this great nation. This is who we are. The world needs the example of America. It needs a strong America. I was in Poland a few weeks ago and saw Lech Walesa, a world hero. I came in to see him. He said, Mitt, you've come from America. You must be tired. You sit, I'll talk, you listen. And so I did. And then he said this, where is American leadership? We need American leadership. Yours is the only superpower on the planet. And then he'd look at what was happening in the Middle East and say, where is American leadership? And then he'd go to another arena in the world. Where is American leadership? The world needs America to lead. Our families need America to lead. Our future needs America to lead. If I'm the next president, when I'm the next president of the United States, I will do everything in my power to keep America strong. Strong in our home, strong in our economy, strong in our military. We will lead. We will lead again. We'll have the jobs we need, the incomes we deserve, the respect we should receive around the world. I love this country. I love Toledo, Ohio. Thank you so very much. What a welcome. What a send-off. Thank you.